Greetings, gang. Okay, I know a lot of you get tired of the political, the economic videos, whatever, okay? I don't have to tell anybody to stock beans and rice anymore. By now, if you've been listening to this channel for, I don't know, 6 months, you kind of got that figured out. But the big question I get all the time is, I've got this, I've got this, I've got this, I've got this. What do I do next? And that's kind of where this is tailored to. Now, I don't know how you want to put this, but the last thing that anybody wants to do is ever get in a battle. We don't, okay? The last thing I ever want to do is have to shoot somebody. Please, I pray to God that never happens. But I'm a prepper. And that means, considering everything in the world that's going on right now, we may come to that. Whether it's marauders, whether it's foreign invaders, whether it's communists, right? Okay, I'm just saying it. You take that however you feel. The funny thing is, I, like you, watch many YouTubers and read many articles, not only on what's going on in the world, but maybe get some ideas. As I've said in the description of this channel, I'm as much of a student as I am a teacher, right? I think y'all can agree with that. Y'all are right there with me too. We're all trying to learn something new, get better at whatever craft it is we're at. So what I want to talk about today is weaponry. And I know this is not a guns channel. I am not some expert marksman. I am not Jerry Michalak. Okay. Yeah, I qualified as an expert with an M16 40 freaking years ago. Yeah, age catches up to us all. Okay. The eyes aren't as good as they used to be. The muscle memory is not as good as it used to be. But technology kind of helps a little bit of that. So what I wanted to talk about today was how to set up your weaponry situation. Now, the funniest thing I get a kick out of watching some of these channels, reading articles, etc., your battle rifle. No, okay, sorry. There's not one. There is no one-size-fits-all to anything in life, especially prepping, okay? It doesn't work that way. You don't own one screwdriver. Gee, is it a Phillips head? Is it a flat head? Is it a Torx wrench? You know, what is it gonna be? No, you need to have different tools, and a weapon is a tool, for different purposes. And I kind of want to talk a little bit about that so you understand what you're doing, okay? My situation is totally different than everybody else's. My property is totally different than everybody else's. There is no one-size-fits-all, period, okay? There is no debate about that. That is an absolute fact. There is not a single person in this world whose property looks like mine, who has the same sight lines that I do. There just ain't, okay? So I need to tailor my defense based on my property. I own 3 acres, okay? I have a sight line, and I've gone out and measured this, of somewhere between 300 and 500 yards before there's too much trees in the way, there's a building in the way, the bend of the road is in the way, whatever. So I need to figure this out. And what is going to be practical for me? Again, I go back to the battle rifle situation, and there ain't one. You've all seen pictures of people who said, this is how you set up your battle rifle. And it looks like the guy's carrying an anchor. We've got sights and scopes and magazine holders and lights and yada, yada, yada. And I mean, this thing is this big, okay? I mean, it looks like he just walked out of some alien movie with a weapon. No, there's a different tool for different purposes. Sure, can you change the tool? Right, yeah, absolutely, okay? I can put things on, take things off on my rifle depending on the situation, and that all takes time. I want you to think about this. When you are in a situation and you've got a plate carrier on, you've got an LBE on, your battle belt, if you will. I mean, LBE is what we called it in the military, load-bearing equipment. That's all weight. Maybe you've got a ghillie suit that you've got to carry. That's weight. The heavier your weapon is, the heavier everything you're carrying is, the slower you are. Think about walking around in the wintertime with scarves and hats and gloves and heavy coats and boots and everything on versus walking around in summertime with a t-shirt and shorts on. Okay, there's your difference. Now start adding pounds, ounces to that. I mean, how much does a plate carrier weigh? How much does a IFAC weigh? How much does 6 extra magazines weigh? And now you start adding all this to your weaponry and you go, crap, I'm toting around 100 pounds. You're not gonna move as quick. So you need to lighten the load. You can't have one battle weapon. It depends on the situation. Are you in an open field? Are you protecting a building? Are you going into a building? Is it daytime? Is it nighttime? Yes, you're going to need to make amends and change things for the current situation. And that takes time. I guarantee you this, when the marauders are coming up the street, when the communists are coming up the street, when Antifa is coming up the street, when BLM's coming up the street, when the UN is coming up the street, you're not going to be going, hey guys, time out, I need 5 minutes to swap my weapon out. That ain't happening. Okay. That's what I want to talk about. So when you go to the gun shop, order online, FFL, whatever it is, and get yourself your first weapon, and I'm an AR guy, okay? Simply put, because I was trained on an M16, I know the platform, et cetera, et cetera. This can all be applied if you're an AK guy or whatever. Okay, I'm just giving you the point. I'm not trying to sell you anything. I'm not trying to promote anything. I'm trying to show you something. So when you go to the store, you get a weapon that looks like this, okay? This is your bare bones, basic, off-the-shelf AR-15. This one's a Ruger, okay? Collapsible stock, iron sights, plastic hand grip, whole 9 yards, okay? This is it. Is this serviceable? Yes. This is, I'd say close to, not the same, roughly what you're issued in the military, or I was 40 years ago, with an M16. Different hand grips, but it was still iron sights. It wasn't even a collapsible stock at that point. That's what you get. Is it serviceable? Absolutely. Okay. That's why they gave it to the troops. What's it good for? When we qualified on the range, we qualified out to 300 yards. That was what it was good for. This is Vietnam era stuff, okay? 1960s, 1970s. Has technology gotten better? Yes, okay. An AR-15 is a modern sporting rifle. It is the civilian almost equivalent, it looks the same, as an M16. That's it, okay. It is designed for personal protection, Can you use it to hunt? Sure. Okay, no problem. But I don't know many hunters are out there. Is it a sniper rifle? No. Okay. It's got a practical, effective range of about 600 yards. Sure, you can go see guys that are shooting it at 1,000 yards online. No problem. Okay. Is that realistic? No, that's not what the weapon was designed for. The weapon was designed to protect yourself in relatively close quarters, 300 yards, okay? That's what Armalite designed it for 60 years ago, just saying. But what you need to think about is what the practical application is for it. And this is going to be different for everybody. Now, this is the exact same base rifle, okay? There's still the iron sights, there's still the collapsible stock, but I've made some improvements. I've put a red dot on it. I've put a bipod on it, okay? Why? I changed the rail, if you will, as well, so I could mount certain things, because the plastic handguards you can't mount anything to. But that's it on this weapon. Why? Well, no, I take it back. There's one other. There's a binary trigger on this one as well. Why? Because this weapon is planned for defense, specifically sitting on my front porch, my back porch, wherever I am going to be in a prone position, laying down, and I can scan. That's it. That is for people getting too close. That is when they are within 300 to 500 yards. Okay. I can do semi-automatic fire, binary, if you know what that is, a little faster. But it's not designed to be, I've got to go out and take this person down from 1,500 yards, 2,000 yards. Okay, no, if I want something like that, that's going to be a different weapon. That's going to be, I don't know, a 308 or something. You know, you're not going to be a sniper with an AR-15 or an AK-47. You need something that's got longer range. And again, sure, there's guys that are out there shooting 1,000 yards with an AR-15. Yeah, when you talk about snipers, world record is somewhere around 2 miles. They ain't using a squad level weapon. That is specifically set up to be in one place to protect the perimeter. If somebody breaches my perimeter, then I can unload on them. Now, let's move on a little bit further. You guys asked about the weapon that I had mentioned about a week or so ago, and I've set this one up as a squad level weapon. This is the basic, okay? Yeah, the one I told you about comes with the red dot. But there's nothing else on this. This is a squad level weapon. This is something, no sling even, okay? I plan on putting one on, it just hasn't come yet, okay? But this is something where you're gonna be out on guard duty with. Think about this, the last one I showed you had the bipod underneath. It's gonna make it quite uncomfortable to walk around trying to hold a bipod. It's extra weight, okay? Could you do it? Sure, this is my opinion. But this is for out walking guard duty. This is for setting up a LPOP, listening post, observation post. That's what I want to do with that one. Have I made some improvements on it? Yes. I'll take this one. Okay. I have put a foregrip on here. Now, no, I'm not trying to go out and play El Capone holding like this. The reason for the foregrip is a better grip is to get such as so, depending on how you want to hold it. I like holding it with my finger over the top because I can tuck it into my shoulder. I can pull in a lot more, okay? Still got the red dot on it. This one has a light on the front. Again, because if I have to do anything for nighttime. But it's not loaded with all sorts of, I don't have magnifying scopes or anything. Again, some people may like a magnifying scope. That's great. It's not a sniper rifle. Where do I have magnifying scopes? On other weapons. Okay. You need to understand how things work and what you're going to use them for. Now, we get further into this. What is your zero? Right? Okay. Now, like I said earlier, the maximum or the practical effective range of an AR-15 is about 600 yards. That's with 77 grain, 5.56 ammo. Not everybody shoots that ammo, and not everybody's that accurate in shooting. Okay. When you zero a weapon, you need to zero it for the purpose the weapon is going to be used, whether it's sitting on my porch or whether it's out in the field. Okay? Because contrary to what video games will tell you, bullets don't go in a straight line. Bullets go in an arc. You need to check the ballistics of the round you are shooting for your zero. You need to figure out what your sight height is. On mine, they've got 2.5 inch red dots on them. In other words, the dot sits 2.5 inches above the barrel. So if everything flew on a straight line, I'm going to shoot low every time. It doesn't, because a bullet does this. Okay. You need to figure out what your expected maximum range is for a target. Those are how you zero a weapon. Now, I want you to look at a couple of things here, and I pulled the ballistics up for this, okay? This picture right here is a 36-yard zero, which so many people claim is the best zero, okay? 25, 50, whatever, 100-yard zero. 36 is what a lot of people will say is the best zero. That's a 36-yard zero for a 55 grain 5.56 round with no wind at 1,100 feet of elevation where I am, et cetera, et cetera. You can go to Federal, you look up ballistics calculator online and you can find all sorts of ones. I like Federal premiums, okay? That's where this is coming from. So you look at the trajectory of that round. At 150, 160 yards, that round is 4 inches higher than my zero. Back at 300, it's back to my zero. It's an arc. You wonder why the military says aim center mass, okay? 4 inches high, and all of a sudden it's in the throat, okay? 300 yards out, I'm good. Just saying, okay? Now I want you to look at a second picture. This is a 223 round, again, 55 grain, again, standard stuff, full metal jacket, standard stuff people shoot. Same round, same weight, 223 versus 5.56. This time, I put the calculations in to zero at 50 yards, okay? So at 150 feet, this thing's about two inches high, not so far here. At 300 feet, it's 4 inches low. Now instead of hitting center mass, now you just gave him a new belly button, okay? This is why I'm saying different weapons need to be zeroed for different distances, need to be set up for different situations. There is no one size fits all. What are you going to be using this weapon for? Now, like I said, I can shoot, no question. I'm not bad, but I'm no expert marksman. I'm not going to any tournaments anytime soon. You see these guys, it's like, oh my God, I've got to hit him right here. I've got one inch MOA, one MOA to, in there. Okay, at what distance? Because at 25 yards, your MOA may be here, it may be here, it may be here. Personally, I don't care if I hit somebody here, if I hit somebody here, if I hit somebody here, if I hit somebody here. Trust me, a 223 or a 556 is going to put that person down. This is not John Wick. This is not Die Hard. This is not anything of the sort like that. Where, oh my God, he got hit 3 times with, a 9mm or something like that, and he's still going. He's got some blood. Trust me, okay? You get hit once, you're stopped. Even the craziest meth addict out there will be stopped. So let's go take a look real quick on how to zero with a red dot. I'm not going to talk about how to do it with the scope. I'm not going to talk about how to do it with iron sights or anything like that. That's not how I'm set up. My eyes aren't good enough to do iron sights at distance anymore. I'm not using a scope on my ARs. Again, this is how I'm setting things up. You need to do it yourself. But I at least want to show you how I do it. If it works for you, great. If it doesn't, as I've said a million times, if this is not important to you, that's what the X is for. Go watch somebody else's video. If you think you're going to shoot 1,000 yards with an AR, hey, more power to you. Okay, I'm talking about practical. So let's go take a look at how to do that. Okay, so we're going to move outside and we're going to begin the process for zeroing our rifle with a red dot. Okay, now if you're using iron sights or if you're using a scope or whatever, that's different. Okay, I want to talk about with a red dot for the simple reason that that seems to be the way a lot of people are going. I'm going to qualify this real quick. This is one way of doing it. There are many others, okay? This is just the easier way to do it without spending boatloads of money on equipment, having lasers and all that sort of stuff. I'm not a sniper. I don't plan on being one, okay? I explained earlier in the video about figuring out what weapon is going to be used for what purpose and at what distance you want to zero. The one I'm going to show you here is the one that will be used at a 25-yard zero, okay? Simply put. It's not difficult to do. You can do it with literally stuff you have laying around the house, hopefully. I will explain as we go. Right there in the center of my yard, I have a green paper plate, if you will, that is on a stick that I nailed into the ground. It's static, it's not moving. That's going to be my target. I am zeroing at 25 yards, so that is measured as very close to 25 yards from the tip of my muzzle. That is what I'm looking for. Okay, so the next thing we have to set up here is the barrel of the rifle. Now, as you notice, I have taken out the lower receiver, the bolt carrier group, and the charging handle are removed. I have a clear sight. If I can kind of line that up as best I can, it's kind of difficult. There we go. Through my barrel. This is what I want to do. Okay? I am going to center my vision looking down the barrel and put the center of the barrel right on that plate. That way I know I have a bore zero. Then what I'm going to do is take my red dot and I'm going to center the dot in the center of that plate. And therefore I now have a bore zero. It is not going to be completely accurate, but it'll be close. It's somewhere for you to get started. So when you go out to the range, you're not shooting all over the place, not hitting any paper, and going, okay, I don't know where I am. So this is the way to get started. Okay, so out to the range we go. And first couple of shots in there just from bore zero, I could tell that I was way right. So started to make some adjustments. and trying to bring it back a little bit. Get a 3-round group in here, and as you can see, I am now firing these 3 rounds a little bit low and a little bit right. So no problem, we make some more adjustments. Of course, you're not seeing me walk back and forth to the target to do this. I did edit the video for you, so you didn't have to sit here and watch 45 minutes of this. So go through and make 3 more, and I'm still 1 round. Yep, that one's low center, but I'm still low. So I got, and again, low right. So I still got to worry on my elevation here. Not practicing any Kentucky windage or Tennessee elevation here, just going right off my red dot. Next round, I seem to be getting my elevation correct, but I'm still too far right. Not a big deal, but this is why you take it out to the range. You got a good place to start, but need to get yourself off in center. So go off, I made some adjustments, and if we take a look at this, I over-adjusted too far left, and 3 rounds there, elevation's pretty good, hair low, but too far left. So bring that back to center, and those should pop up here on the video in just a second. Just waiting. And here we go. Well, that one's a little high, but close to right. That one couldn't see. And that one was a little right again, but we're close enough. So I made a couple elevation and horizontal changes here. Figured, okay, I think I got it dialed in. I'm going to take a couple of headshots and see how we do. And there's 1, and there's 2. And then the magazine was empty, and that was it. So there's your basic idea on setting up a rifle, zeroing a rifle, and just how to have it ready for whatever situation you're in, whether it's from the front porch, whether it's out in the woods, whether you're on guard duty. But like I said at the top, you know, we need multiple tools for multiple different situations. You ain't cutting a board with a hammer, and you're not nailing nails with the saw. You know, you need to have multiple tools. Weapons are no different. Just my opinion, just one way to do it. But as usual, I want you to think about your situation, how you would do it yourself, and then gave you some basic ideas on how to go about doing it. Have a good one, gang. Pinball out.